Now, back in July, Marvel Studios announced a lot of new projects as part of their Phase 4 plans at San Diego Comic-Con, and while it's all well and good, the surprise announcement of Oscar winner Mahershala Ali starring in a new Blade film definitely caught a lot of people's attention, including my own. As you may know, Blade is a character that I feel was instrumental in proving that Marvel properties could be successful in theaters, and it's great to see that more people are kind of coming around to that idea, and obviously for Marvel Studios to now be developing a new Blade film is a pretty big deal. Bearing all that in mind, I'm still a little bit apprehensive just because I feel like with Disney's influence over Marvel Studios, they're not going to go as far as the original Wesley Snipes films did in terms of violence and gore and blood. This is a character that hunts vampires after all, so my big fear is that we're going to maybe still get some decent action out of it, but it's going to be fairly bloodless, which would be a crying shame if you ask me. Now, to be fair, I still think that it's okay to err on the side of optimism and see what direction they might go in. Obviously, it would be a big mistake for them to just try and ape everything that the Wesley Snipes films did wholesale, but you do need to have some of those elements in there, especially considering the fact that the character, as he appears in the comics, has been heavily influenced by the original Wesley Snipes films since 1998. So I wanted to share a few ideas of who I think might be perfect to direct a Blade film for Marvel Studios. So let's take a look, shall we? Number 6, Gerald McMurray. Critical reaction may have been mixed for Gerald McMurray's entry into the Purge franchise, but I personally loved the first Purge and thought it showed the director's potential for bigger projects. He has a great eye for atmosphere, and I personally thought he did a fantastic job balancing social commentary and B-movie style action without letting one element overtake the other. The combination of action, horror, and drama was definitely satisfying for me, especially with star Yolande Noel pulling a John McClane in the film's third act. I think after this film, a lot of people wanted to see him step into the role of Blade, but such is life. Number 5, Gareth Evans. Obviously, a standout aspect of the original Blade films was the martial arts-driven action. At the time, Wesley Snipes had over 20 years of experience in multiple disciplines, as well as bringing in frequent collaborator Jeff Ward as the lead fight choreographer. It stands to reason that Marvel Studios will want their Blade film to have that same level of intense, visceral action, and if anyone understands that, at the top of my list anyway, may very well be Gareth Evans. I'm still convinced that a number of stuntmen who worked on the Raid films were flat out killed on screen. Number 4, J.D. Dillard. Dillard's dance card may be getting full, what with a potential remake of The Fly, as well as the recently acquired Mastering Your Past, which incited a bidding war between multiple studios, with Legendary Pictures proving triumphant. His follow-up to his directorial debut Slight, Sweetheart, premiered at Sundance earlier this year and has garnered a fair amount of praise. Dillard showed with Slight that he had a talent for crafting complex characters, but also a love for genre, as the story revolved around a teenager using his skills in electrical engineering to become a street magician, subsequently forced to use his talents to take down a ruthless drug dealer. Number 3, Leigh Whannell. Have you seen Upgrade? James Wan may have become the toast of Hollywood, directing films like Insidious, The Conjuring, and Aquaman, but his frequent collaborator definitely left his mark directing this stylish sci-fi thriller. Whannell has a great eye for fast kinetic action, and an overall aesthetic that's futuristic without feeling unattainable. So much of it felt comic book inspired, and I could see him translating that to a Blade film and making something appropriately dark and dynamic. Number 2, Stephen Capel Jr. Following up Ryan Coogler with Creed 2 was definitely a tall order, but for what it's worth, Stephen Capel Jr. did a fantastic job of continuing the story of Adonis Creed and crafting incredible moments between characters both inside and outside the ring. The drama and the tension of those moments feels earned and genuine. I have a feeling him and Mahershala Ali would have strong chemistry as an actor-director pairing. Number 1, the Spierig Brothers. It is criminal how slept on the Spierig Brothers vampire action thriller Daybreakers is, because I feel like this is what David Goyer had originally envisioned as the third film in the original Blade franchise. In the film, vampires became the dominant species on the planet after the spread of some nondescript virus, and humanity was forced underground just trying to survive. The film definitely draws influence from Blade in terms of production design and cinematography, but I love some of the retro touches it adds to the near-future setting, in addition to acknowledging that just because a vampire has no reflection doesn't mean that their clothes shouldn't have one either. Yes, this is a touchy subject for me. Another great element to this film was the idea that vampires who abstain from human blood eventually mutate into regressive primal bat creatures. Don't you want to see regressive primal bat creatures in a Blade movie? Of course you do. Hey guys, thanks for watching as always. If you've got your own suggestions for directors that you think would be a good fit for a Blade film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I would love to hear about them, so why don't you go ahead and leave those suggestions in the comments section below. Don't forget to hit that like button, as well as sharing this video with your friends and family. If you'd like to keep up to date on more At Random videos, you can do so by hitting the subscribe button right over here.